Hello everybody, in today's video I've got a dual commentary with Oskar van Deventer, somebody you guys have been requesting for a long time. It's actually more of an interview, and the way it's set up this time is a little bit different than what you're used to, and I hope you guys really like it. So how's it going, Oskar?
Quite good, Dan. Great to be on your channel for a change.
Yeah, thanks for coming here. So I guess we'll get right at it. What has sparked your interest in puzzle design, and how long ago was that?
Well, you're talking about ages ago. It was in 1978 that the book was published, Puzzles of the World, and you can still find it because it's still for sale. It was by Botermans and Van Delft, and it contained all these mechanical puzzles, you know, like tangrams, burr puzzles, pieces of wood through each other. And I started making them because there were instructions how to make them. But at some point in time I had made many of those puzzles, and for some reason I didn't want to stop, so I started designing myself. And from that moment, I was 12 years old in 1978, from that moment I've not stopped. Wow,
so that was like before the original Rubik's Cube came around. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's correct. Actually, so I can truly say that the Rubik's Cube was not the thing that triggered me.
That's okay. Now, we've all heard that you have a PhD, and I'm wondering is that related to what you do for puzzles?
No, my PhD is completely unrelated to puzzles. At some point in life I decided that I would like to keep my work and hobby separated. So I have my PhD on optical networking. Actually, I wrote the book on bidirectional communication over a single optical fiber. And it was in 1994 when, optical fibers for the high bitrate connections, they were still scarce.
Yeah.
And the idea of having fiber to the home was only, like a daydream. And at that time, optical fiber was expensive. So my thesis was about saving optical fibers because you would need only one fiber instead of two. And of course now the world is quite different. When you take fiber to the home, you immediately get maybe two fiber pairs. So, okay. Which makes it an excellent PhD subject because I didn't have that much competition from the scientific point of view.
Right. I think a lot of people may have assumed that your PhD had something to do with the puzzle design because you come out with puzzles so often. Like, you come out with what, one a week now?
Yeah, that's just the recent period because of the Shapeways service. It's so easy now to design a puzzle and to upload it and, and then go to the next one. Actually, while we're talking, I still have a few on, in the burner, actually in the bucket that are soaking. I was planning to dye them tonight, but maybe that will be tomorrow, and then they need to be assembled, and then I have another batch.
Right, now talking about putting together Shapeways puzzles, I've done quite a few myself, just putting them together, and I know the process of it. Yeah. Now, because you consistently come out with a video once a week, like you said, you've got a couple on the back burner. Do you always have one or two on the back burner, or do you ever feel pressured that you're not going to have it out in time for Saturday?
No, I always have things on the back burner, and occasionally I skip a weekend. Don't forget, I'm doing this for fun, so, it's not like I have an obligation. It's not that my boss will be angry with me. By the way, my boss never gets angry with me, so that's not one of my worries either.
That's good. Yeah. Regarding all of your puzzles, how many puzzles do you think that you've made?
I don't know, but I'll ask my wife to pen a bit to the collection which is behind me. So what you see in the middle is a lot of, the Rubik's Cube style of twisty puzzles. And, I have 3 showcases here, and all of the trays have different things. I have several trays with twisty puzzles, but all the way on the left there are some wooden puzzles that I've designed. And I've collaborated with many people from the mechanical puzzle community to make them. Some of them are mass produced. And all the way at the right there are some commercial plastic puzzles and cast metal puzzles and other. So yeah, it's a lot, and I challenge people to check the video and start counting.
Right, because so many puzzles of yours are just such an original design that I gotta wonder, like, how do you come up with these mechanisms? Do you just think of a puzzle and how it should turn and go into your program and just you know, make the puzzle? Like, how does their thought process come with that?
Well, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a sociologist, so I cannot give you any scientific qualified answer to that. But how it works is inspiration. So being busy with puzzles, and it's just, well, I'm inspired on what I see. So in the past I regularly went to the stationery store and I started buying paper clips of all kinds. And then I found puzzles where I can combine paper clips. And then I meet people who can do wonderful things with wood. So I design things for wooden puzzles. And actually my designs, they sort of follow the inspiration. So when George Miller came around with his 3D printer in 2003, we started, I started designing puzzles made for 3D printing. And then there was Shapeways, so I started designing for puzzles that were good for Shapeways. Then I met Bram Cohen, and he told me about this funny cuber community that have fun in just making very strange twisty puzzles, and to make it look as much like as if it were a commercial puzzle. So, well, he sort of sucked me into that. And then I found out that the Twisty Puzzle community is actually a very creative community. There are many people around there with original ideas, and if you have watched my channel regularly, and you know that many of my designs are in collaboration with people or inspired by people. And well, I don't know, it must be many tens of designs where there is another person who had an idea, or where I had an idea, and so it's all about the collaboration, and that's what's fun about it, and that's what gives me the inspiration.
So you've been inspired to make all sorts of different puzzles, and then companies like Mefferts have mass-produced some of your puzzles.
Yes.
So you've been quite accomplished as a puzzle designer. What do you view some of your biggest accomplishments, or puzzles you might just be more proud of than others?
Well, as for being proud of a puzzle, one that I'm particularly proud of, by the way, this cat, that's our house cat, her name is Koski, and well, people have occasionally seen her in the video, and she is very nosy and she's very gentle. You saw her in one recent video as well. But as for puzzles that I'm proud of, what you're now seeing in close-up is the Oskars cube. Actually, I designed that in the, I think, 1983 or early 1984. And what it is a cube with mazes at all the sides, and there is a metal cross running through the middle, and you have to solve all the mazes simultaneously. And this particular design I'm proud of because it's my very first design that was mass-produced. And to my surprise, it's still in production, it's still doing well. So. And it really looks good, and it feels good.
And where could you buy this puzzle?
This puzzle you can buy from Puzzle Master Canada, so that's puzzlemaster.ca. I would say perhaps they are your neighbors, I don't know exactly where you live. Yeah. But yeah, that's the Oskars cube, and well, I am also proud of it because it bears my name.
Right. So what about some of your non-mass produced puzzles? What are some of your accomplishments there?
Well, the thing that I'm most interested in is the ones that I'm working on. So I'm now working on a twisty puzzle that is, it looks like a 2x2 by, I think it's 7. But when you twist it, the axis is, one of the turning axes is off axis. and it suddenly you can switch tiles that you can't switch in the regular one, and hopefully in a month or two I'm going to show you a successful prototype. So to answer your question, I'm always most busy with my next project.
Right, well thank you for the sneak peek on that, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, well, there is no sneak peek just in words. Actually, you can already see some photos of it on or sketches on Shapeways, but they don't disclose that much.
Right. So in regards to your 17 by 17, like every time that I post on Facebook of what I should get for my next puzzle that people want to see, they always see that, but unfortunately, it'll be some time before I could get something like that.
Yeah, it's a bit massive.
Yeah, it's a lengthy process to build that too. That was your third attempt, wasn't it?
That's correct. Actually, it was my third physical attempt, and I think my 14th electronic attempt. So I have many designs on file where I made attempts, and then from trying it electronically, I found out that well, what I was planning to do, it just didn't work.
Right, and that's actually an official Guinness World Record,
yes,
acknowledged by Guinness, right?
Yeah.
And what was the process that did they find you, or did you enter it, and how did they, you know, give you the certificate?
Well, the process is very straightforward. You go to the website and you tell them, hey, I have something that's worth a Guinness World Record, and then you can you get a set of papers where you can fill it in. In my case, we are talking about a new category, because there was no such category as largest order 17 by 17. So I had some communication with Guinness, and I had something to prove that it was actually a category. And from there on, of course, first I had to achieve the Guinness World Records. So that happened, well, you know, everything that Shapeways has sponsored this big beast, and I presented in New York at the New York Puzzle Party show. I think it was called Symposium. Yeah, thank you. It was the New York Puzzle Party Symposium, and Tom Cutrofello invited me to that. He's actually the head of my official Oskar van Deventer fan club on Facebook. But Tom Cutrofello really wanted me to be there, and it happened that Shapeways had started in New York, and well, the planets were just right. Shapeways sponsored the big cube I presented in New York. And the good thing of presenting it in New York is that I got a lot of press. I got a lot of witnesses. Actually, one of the witnesses on site was Eric Virgo, who's also an accomplished designer from our community. And of course, the main witness was Tony Fisher, because if there's anybody who knows everything about twisty puzzles since the birth of twisty puzzles, it's Tony. So Tony wrote a witness statement following the rules. Well, one of the rules of Guinness is that he should have written it himself. Well, he wrote it himself, and I offered the video footage, I offered photos and all the things, and I sent it. I wait a couple of weeks, and surprise, something shows up in the mail, and that's my certificate. Yeah,
that must have felt pretty good when you opened that, eh?
Oh yeah, I've on the wall. One moment, sorry, Koski. I'll show it to you. Oh, here we are. So this is the certificate. You see, it's almost it's larger than the cat. Sorry, the cat is going in front of the certificate. Well, here you are, and yeah, it really feels good. Of course, I also have another thing that is similar size. That's my PhD, but for some reason it's this thing that's hanging in my living room.
That's awesome. We have some viewer questions from Facebook, if you're interested in answering some of those.
Okay, yes, of course.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through randomly. Of course, I will be screening some of them. I have to read them before I pick one.
Yeah.
Freddie wants to know, how much does it cost to make a typical puzzle for you?
In terms of time, that varies greatly. So some designs, they, well, once I know what I want, it's a matter of a couple of hours or a day work, so like 8 hours. There are some things that take more time, so my chain puzzle really took me like 28 prototypes and 100 plus hours, probably even more. And of course for the 17 by 17 that must have been even much more, because there's so much design work, just the logistics of all the pieces and putting it together. And in terms of cost, well, you know, the pricing model of Shapeways, you pay for the weight. It's the same price model as cheese. If you have a puzzle of 2 kilo or a cheese of 2 kilo, it costs twice as much as a cheese or a puzzle of 1 kilo. So it's fairly easy to find out what it costs. Actually, at my next sales event, maybe I take a scale instead of a price list, and I just put the puzzles on the scale and I say, well, you want to buy 100 gram of puzzle? Well, this is the price.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty funny way. I've never even thought about it that way before.
Yeah. So, and as for the average twisty puzzle, you have seen the prices on my Shapeways shop. A typical Rubik's Cube size, it's anything between 80-90 euro and maybe 200 or plus euro. Oh, multiply that by 1.2 or 1.3, so in the order of $100 to $200.
Right. So Matthew would like to know why you film most of your videos outdoors.
Ah, Matthew, that's a good question. The reason I film outdoors is because the light is good. I've made many videos inside. You have seen some of my earlier videos. Actually, we're doing this video inside because, well, outside it's bad weather. And well, maybe you can show the weather a bit. Well, it's raining a bit, so my wife is just panning outside and showing why I'm not outside today. But usually outside is where's the best light. So we always shoot at dawn when the sun goes down, because then there's even lighting on my puzzles from all different directions. Also outside at that time it's quiet, so I'm living in a very nice quiet neighborhood. So yeah, outside it started as an experiment, and then I noticed that everything from the light point of view, it looks so much better. Right.
So we got one more here, and this is a question that a lot of people have asked already, is how many of your own puzzles can you solve?
How many of my own puzzles can I solve? Well, I can tell you for sure that for each of them I know exactly how I should take them apart and how I should put them together. Most of them are assembled with a screwdriver. I know exactly where the screws are, where the hidden caps are, where the, you know, one of my puzzles had even a hidden pin, the cheat pin, and of course I can use the cheat pin. To be honest, many puzzles I can't solve. Even my Oskars cube, if I would solve it, I would to get started from scratch. And of course I know how to figure it out. Of course I have figured out the Rubik's Cube as well. But yeah, I'm not really a solver. I'm not an analyzer. The only solves that I do is the puzzles that I need to solve to design it. So for instance, my Oskars Cube, it's a maze. So of course I had to make a reverse analysis of what the maze looks like, and so I had to solve the maze.
Right. All right, so that's all we have for viewer questions. So I guess what's on everybody's mind right now is the 8-inch bolt video that you posted that's gone quite viral in the cubing community.
Yeah, my fans and my family liked it as well, so that was really fun to see it getting that popular.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what was, like, why did you build a puzzle like that?
Well, let me tell you first a bit about the history. Of course, it's all about inspiration. So at the end of the 1990s, I designed a puzzle that has been marketed by Bits and Pieces as Locomotion. Actually, it's not for sale anymore, so you can now buy it only very expensively from eBay. But it looks like a piston of well, how do you call this, a locomotive, an engine, and at the back of the piston what you see is a set of grooves, and the grooves, it's just a flat thing, they fit in a slot, and there is a coin which has a locomotive on it, and when you put it in there everything is locked, and when you pull it out it gets stuck, and there is a pin that moves up and down. So from that point, actually the locomotion puzzle is too easy to solve. I'm just showing you now, it's a couple of moves, and when you look at the backside it's too easy. So the next thing I was thinking, I need to make a more difficult puzzle. So the groove pattern should be larger, but then this thing would be immensely wide. So what's more obvious than turning it into a cylinder, because a cylinder is much more compact. So I made a more complicated design and a cylinder, and what do they say? Form follows function. Well, from there I think things are sort of obvious what the theme should be. I mean, once you have something that goes a ring up and down around the cylinder, even without any suggestion, everybody who solves the puzzle would think, where have I seen that movement before? Yeah.
I see what you're saying there. Now, the Kinsey Institute has a copy of this puzzle, so did they ask you for this, or did you donate it to them?
Well, the Kinsey story, I'm just now showing you the puzzle, and sorry YouTube viewers, please do not be that offended for seeing it again. Well, I'll hide it again. The story of Kinsey is actually in Bloomington, Indiana. There is the Lilly Library, and the Lilly Library hosts the largest collection of mechanical puzzles, which is the Jerry Slocum collection, which was donated by the Jerry Slocum Foundation of the great puzzle collector Jerry Slocum, who is also the organizer of the International Puzzle Party. But anyway, Jerry has made his great donation, and at some point in time the library got, or his section got opened, and I was invited there, and I was even asked to give a speech, so that was a great honor. And well, we were there with a whole lot of people from the puzzle community. By the way, the puzzle community is a bit older than the cuber community. It's typically aged 20 till well, 80 or so, but there are also many retired people or people like me. So when you're in Bloomington, Indiana, and you have some time left, and about 500 meters from that location there's the Kinsey Institute. What do? Of course you go on an excursion. So with the whole group we went there, and we were on an excursion, and then George Miller, you know, my friend who 3D printed the 8-inch bolt, he noticed, hey, in this collection of Kinsey, because they have a collection of artifacts of all kinds of the world, written artifacts, mechanical artifacts, etc. And they are just showing them at that there with, I mean, like a serious museum. Of course we all know the fun, etc. But this is serious research with serious artifacts. And George Miller said, well, they're missing one type of artifact, that is the 8-inch bolt. So he contacted the Kinsey Institute and he made this donation. He printed a second one, and as you can see from his print, again the black ran out. Well, I think this joke has also run out, but so the Kinsey Institute has an identical replica to the one that you saw in the video. And actually it was, is still one of the more popular things that people want to see and play there.
Right. Now,
so when people come to Bloomington, Indiana to research puzzles, they always know they have to go to 2 places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because, you know, everybody's not the same on the planet and we all have different views and opinions and stuff, you've gotten quite a variety of different responses from your 8-inch bolt video. Were you, did you expect this kind of response from it?
No, I had, I had expected a lot of responses, and of course I had expected, and I've invited implicitly, a lot of innuendo jokes. So you know that on most of my YouTube videos I'm a bit strict in not to have too coarse language, but here this one was inviting innuendo, so that's okay. But something that I had not expected, that I had really heard some persons or several persons feeling at the fundamental level. I mean, even the family of my niece, my in-laws, they all had great fun with the video. All people that I know from the puzzle community, all of them are American, and not one of them had ever told me that I was doing something strange or even warned me that something like this could happen. Actually, the 8-inch bolt is for sale already since 2004 on George Miller's website, and he has not received yet one negative comment. So yes, I was sort of taken by surprise.
Yeah, regarding that, I just want to quickly say, regarding, you know, if it's been out for so long and not had one negative comment, I think it's just because of the audience you have and it's been exposed now.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you know, somebody could say something negative towards somebody else, and if I did that just because I have exposure, you know, then I get a lot of negative feedback because of that. So I think it's just, you know, cultural differences, and some people I think have taken it the wrong way or just not seen the joke, or there's you know, just moral issues involved. You know, so what are you, I think this is something that most people are wanting to know is, Me, Myself, and Pi has made a video asking people to flag your video, which has worked, and now your video has been flagged for age restriction. Yeah. And he seemed to, what most people would say, blow it out of proportion. What is your feelings towards this actions that have been going on?
Well, first of all, this is an interesting learning experience for me. On the one hand, I'm amused by everything that's happening. It's very obvious that the people that are discussing there, many of them haven't reached the age of consent. Well, I know that, so that's a part of amusement. I'm a great advocate of free speech. So if somebody thinks that I've done a poor job, that my puzzle runs poorly, or that it offends people, then I think that's, well, I'm happy that I'm in a part of the world where we can have this type of discussion in the open. So as such, this is also the reason why I have approved all the video responses that are about this issue, because they are genuine video responses, they're well phrased, just discussing the issue.
Right. And I think this has only become quite an issue, the whole topic of Me, Myself, and Pi, is because he has an audience. You know, you've got an audience, I have an audience, and he has an audience, and his viewpoint is different than a majority of the viewers that have been watching, and I think that's why it's getting a lot of attention. I mean, he is, after all, just one person's opinion, as is yours and as is mine. So I'm pretty sure, you know, this is just gonna, people are gonna forget about this in a few days, you know, or except for when they watch this video, of course. Yeah,
well, you're right, and as I say, I'm doing this for fun. I don't do this for offending any people, so for people who feel offended by my video, please accept my apologies for that. I didn't mean to hurt you, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. I am still convinced that my video is quite harmless, and I respect everybody's opinion who thinks differently. And if in the end YouTube finds that I'm truly violating their, what's their policy called? They
have a whole bunch of policies
that I'm violating the YouTube policy, then of course I'm on YouTube, so I'm the guest of YouTube. If I'm violating the YouTube video and my video should be age restricted, okay. And YouTube has the policy of better being safe than sorry, so they first put the age restriction, and of course I have the opportunity to appeal, and I have to still to check that. So far so good.
Right. I think it just really comes down to cultural differences. From what I've read in some of the comments from people that live in the area that you do, it's more socially acceptable there, you know, just to talk about it. It's not so strict as it may be in other countries. Yeah. And like I said, it's just everybody's different, and so that's why we're getting all the different responses from it. I personally loved the video, Oskar.
Thank you.
But I've got quite a wide sense of humor, though. I don't really. I find humor in almost everything I can.
Yeah. Well, take life light.
Right. Yeah. All right. So this video has been a half an hour now, and we've gone through all the questions. Okay. So I want to thank you for coming onto my channel, Oskar.
Yeah. Well, then I'll say thank you, Dan, and to the viewers, thank you for watching.
Alright guys, I want to thank you for watching, and please leave your comments down below and let me know how you like this layout, you know, having to see Oskar this time. You know, should I do this with more people in the future, stuff like that. I really enjoyed my time with Oskar. He's a really nice guy, and I hope you liked the video too, and I'll see you on my next video.